Silver has reached record highs worldwide. In terms of the price of silver, and you write to me in the comments if I'm wrong, has the price of silver gone up or not? The question is, why silver? It has increased significantly recently in these past months, and it's not the only thing that has gone up. Gold has risen, stocks have risen, and many other things whose value has increased, including real estate. And this isn't just happening in the United States, it's happening all over the world. The question being asked is why? Why has all of this happened? And why did it happen when it did? We'll answer all of these questions in this video, but before we start, I'd like you to give a like and leave lots of nice comments, or at least share your opinion in the comments. And share this video. It will help a lot of people understand some simple things, like gold, like reading. Why are their prices rising? And what will go up in the future, or not? What are the factors that affect their increase, and why, really? We need to understand all of this, as we said in this video. So follow along if you haven't already, and let's get started. To understand the rise in interest rates, we need to talk about the increase in gold prices and the rise of global stock markets, because they give us a clear and excellent picture of the situation. First, gold has risen significantly this year, and in recent months, even though gold usually goes up for many reasons. The first reason is global economic problems, economic downturns, and global political issues. The rise in oil prices, inflation, and so on, all of these make gold go up. Why? Because it is considered a safe haven, and this safe haven protects money, but this time things were very different. People are buying gold even though the stock market is rising and real estate is going up. There aren't any major economic or political problems, nothing big is happening, yet gold is still going up. A question arises, why gold? Why did it do something it usually doesn't do? Quite simply, the answer lies in the dollar. Every time the dollar drops, it gives a boost to gold. And recently, in the past few years, we've seen that a lot of things have come together against the dollar. This has caused it to start declining, and it's expected to drop even further in the future. The first thing is that the benchmark interest rate in America is going down. Why? Because unemployment has risen from 3 to 4 to 6, and it's expected that unemployment will increase a bit more. This is what will make the Federal Reserve in America lower the interest rate to keep money circulating, and if money flows, people like them will benefit. Jobs will come back, and this cycle always happens. And the decline of the dollar makes bond yields weak, and whenever American bond yields are weak, this causes countries and global institutions to stop buying dollars and holding them in these bonds to get returns, because the returns are not attractive. So those who deal in dollars may stop dealing in dollars and might turn to other things. This is the first factor that affected the dollar. The second factor is Japan. Japan is raising its benchmark interest rate while the US is lowering its benchmark interest rate. This creates what is called the carry trade, meaning that some institutions borrow at a lower cost. In Japan, they buy bonds because they have high returns, and because when its value rises, the demand increases even more and it climbs higher. I don't know if you understood this method or not. And if you go back to the videos I made about Japan, the dollar, and its relationship with US government bonds, you will clearly understand what we want to say about the dollar. So, since the dollar is declining because the institutions that used to do this are no longer doing it, not Japan, not America, no one is doing it. Add to that the videos about rate cuts plus economic problems plus high tariffs, which have made countries reduce their exports to America. All of these factors together. This has given us a weak dollar, and it's possible that it will weaken even more in the near future. And this decline, what does it do? Automatically, it causes the prices of most raw materials used around the world, from metals to sugar to coffee and so on, to go up. Their prices rise every time the dollar drops, and this is normal. From this, the first wave of gold, then the second wave, and so on. And with global economic problems and tariffs, this is what makes some institutions and countries, including China, start to move away a bit from the dollar. And they started buying gold in large quantities. Russia is buying a lot of gold. India has started buying gold as well. This is out of fear of abandoning, or in case some countries abandon the dollar. How do those considering abandoning the dollar think? The fear of future political problems makes countries, not just institutions or individuals, store their wealth in gold, and this has further driven up prices. So, if you understood why gold prices are rising, that's the reason. As for the world stock markets, they also go up every time interest rates start to go back up, and right now there's a big bubble in AI. There are companies investing heavily in this field, in artificial intelligence, and the returns are strong. And they started working on it. Companies like Google, OpenAI, Meta, Microsoft, and so on. What happens is that when these big companies invest, smaller companies also benefit because they work in hardware and are the ones who manufacture the equipment. And since their profits can keep rising, the entire stock market will keep going up for this reason. There is huge demand for AI, and even the expectations of how AI could develop in the future have led large groups of investors to invest heavily in AI and artificial intelligence. Of course, this has pushed the stock market up, so now we know why it went up. But here's a question: why did interest rates rise? There are certain things that cause interest rates to increase significantly. The first is utility, which is the opposite of debt. Debt is purchased. So that money can be hidden in it, and institutions, countries, individuals, and so on can store their funds there. But utility does not have a large usage. There are many devices like telephones that have some debt, but they are not used daily in large quantities like silver is. The main focus is on usage, so whenever the economy is active, the demand for silver in various things increases. Industries related to it are growing, and as a result, the price of silver rises. Recently, we've seen demand continue to increase. Because all this AI stuff also requires many things related to silver. Electric vehicles need silver, and the increase in sales from that perspective is significant. Microchips are also affected by the price of silver. This is from the usage perspective, but it doesn't mean that silver prices will reach crazy levels. There's another factor involved, which is what's called the gold-silver ratio. What does that mean? Quite simply, it's the price of gold compared to silver. When gold rises significantly, you can see it through this ratio. Silver tends to follow gold. Why? Because there's a connection between them, so it's always reflected in the levels. If you look back in history, you'll always find it around 55 or 60 and so on. What does this mean? It means that with 55 or 60 ounces of silver, you can get 1 ounce of gold. This is the ratio we always see. Currently, we're seeing it at 80 or even 100. This is what makes silver extremely cheap compared to gold prices. And this is what puts pressure on silver prices to rise, so that the ratio returns to 55 or 60 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. Currently, it takes 80 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold, and that's a very high number, unusually high. That's why whenever gold rises after a few months or a year, silver tends to follow. Because, as we have previously stated, in order to significantly reduce the existing ratio between gold and silver, the actual ratio is not as straightforward or simple as 1 + 1 = 2. These and other factors have always existed throughout history, and since analysts and even people in the field of silver analysis always take them into consideration, they don't think that silver will break out. And others think that silver will break out. And others think that silver will break out. And when they start buying it, they find it's just speculation. What about future expectations? These are big numbers. And since they create a kind of anticipation, plus technical analysis that tells us silver has broken a certain resistance level, this causes silver to rise significantly, especially in the futures contracts. And this, brothers, is what's happening right now. There are several other factors involved in silver, but this is the current situation. Expectations. As for the future, some say, no, it's going to drop a bit because we've gone up a lot. A correction is necessary. A proper correction. We want to know your opinion, brothers. Why is this happening at Meldeb? Why do you go and beg for reading? Why did it rise so much? Did this happen worldwide and in the papers? But even in reality, we want to know. Share your opinion with me in the comments. How was it before and how has it become now?